Well, good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me, Pastor Michelle. Today is Wednesday, January 27th, and our Disney story of the night is from Sleeping Beauty, and it's called Sleepless Beauty. "Oh, there, little Aurora. There, cooed Flora, trying to calm the crying, fussy baby princess. Flora and her fellow fairies, Fauna and Merryweather, stood huddled over the cradle of tiny Aurora and looked down anxiously and helplessly at their royal charge. The three good fairies had taken the princess from the castle after the evil fairy Maleficent had put a curse on her. Perhaps if the evil fairy couldn't find the girl, the curse would not work, but the baby had not stopped crying since Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather had arrived with her at the secluded cottage in the woods. "Oh, goodness! What have we gotten ourselves into?" cried Fauna. "We don't know the first thing about taking care of human babies." Flora gave Fauna a comforting pat on the back. Now, don't panic, Fauna," Flora said. "It may be harder than we expected, but this is the only way to keep the princess safe from Maleficent." Merryweather and Fauna knew Flora was right, so one after another they tried different things to try to get the baby to stop crying and go to sleep. "Well," Flora said, "fairy babies are soothed by a sprig of dandelion root placed in their cradle. Let's try that." Flora hurried out of the cottage and returned minutes later with the sprig. She laid it at the baby's feet, but the princess cried on. "Perhaps she needs to be entertained," suggested Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. They locked arms and danced a little jig, but baby Aurora took no notice and kept on crying. As the fairies fought over how to calm the baby, Flora accidentally nudged the cradle, causing it to rock gently back and forth. Soothed by the rocking, the baby's cries slowly grew softer and softer. "Fauna, you've done it," Flora said. "Look how much she likes the rocking," added Merryweather. The three fairies continued to rock the cradle gently back and forth, and soon Aurora drifted off to sleep. "Well," Fauna whispered to the others once the baby was sleeping soundly, "that wasn't so hard now, was it?" I kind of want to hear about another inspiring woman, don't you? So we will go ahead and continue on with our adventurous women. So today we're going to talk about Emma Grandma Gatewood, the hiker with heart. All right. Who died in 1973. So her life was anything but easy. She married at 19, but her husband soon became violent. To escape his cruelty, she often ran into the woods where she found peace. Getting a divorce was difficult for a woman back then, and she had 11 kids to think about. Finally, after 30 years of a disastrous marriage, she did something that was rare at that time. She got a divorce. Emma was now free to do whatever she wanted. She just didn't know what that was yet. Emma had once seen breathtaking photographs in an article in National Geographic about the Appalachian Trail. It stated that a woman had never hiked the entire 2,050 miles. She decided to be the first. Most hikers pack their supplies carefully, making sure they have the proper equipment. But Emma wasn't like other hikers. She had no special gear. In fact, she didn't even have a sleeping bag, compass, tent, or hiking boots. Emma did have a homemade denim bag, a raincoat, sneakers, a blanket, and a shower curtain. Her supplies barely weighed 17 pounds. In May 1955, at 67 years old, yes, 67, off she went. The Appalachian Trail is not an easy walk. It meanders through 14 states from Georgia to Maine. Emma encountered bears, rattlesnakes, 2 hurricanes, flooded streams, harsh brush, and huge boulders. She suffered lots of sprains, cuts, and bruises. She ate berries and plants along the way, but she mostly survived by what she called trail magic. Other hikers sharing their food or giving her shelter when her shower curtain or tent couldn't keep her dry and warm. The hike was way more difficult than she expected, and many times during her 146-day trek, she wanted to quit. But she kept going, overcoming all the obstacles she faced along the way. In September, 4 months after she began, she reached the end of the trail in Maine. She celebrated being the first woman to do so by singing "America the Beautiful." But Emma wasn't done. 2 years later, she hiked it again. This time, 69 years old doing this. The publicity and media coverage she received during her hikes shined a much-needed spotlight on the Appalachian Trail and led to upgrades and restoration. It also captured the attention of a new generation of hikers who have attempted to follow in her footsteps. Emma proved that it isn't where you come from, but where you're going that counts. And with hard work, dedication, and some worn out sneakers, you can achieve success and inspire others to do the same. Man, that is so, I love it. I mean, I like going on hikes and like short hikes. I don't know if I would want to do the Appalachian Trail, but it's inspiring to hear that someone in her 60s walked it, and she didn't even have all the equipment. I remember an episode of Gilmore Girls. I think it was the newest one, or maybe it was during the regular season because they had a spinoff on Netflix. Anyway, Lorelai, Lorelai was a mom. She decided to hike the Appalachian Trail. Actually, she didn't even do it, but she at least had packed up and was ready to go. And like you see her trying to get her book bag on because there's just so much stuff in it. I just can't imagine. I mean, all this, she didn't bring, this woman, didn't bring much at all. So anyway, God bless you all, my friends. Let's continue to be inspired by these women, right?